Hi and welcome along to a brand new feature here on DR Sports. This is the Round Table Talk, right? Where we talk all things sport, and on this occasion it's all about football. I've got a great panel of guests with me. First of all, let me start with Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, massive West Ham fan.
I wouldn't call it great, but we're guests.
We got Lewis here from Chelsea Fan TV, obviously a big Chelsea fan, always great to have him on board. And Flex from United View, massive Manchester United fan. And we're here to talk all things football, right? Obviously, the first topic I really wanted to get into today is transfers. It's transfer season. Transfer window closes on the 31st of January. I always kind of drill down into what's been going down. You know what I mean? I've been studying it every day as an Arsenal fan. First of all, let me ask you guys what you've made of it so far. I mean, it's still got a little while, a few days to go, but Flex, are you happy with Man United's transfer window so far? It really brought no one in.
Zero, yeah.
But you got rid of Martial.
Yeah.
Martial's gone to Sevilla. How are United fans? Last season, a lot of United fans were talking up Martial and saying, this guy's going to be important.
Well, he had a poor season last year, injuries and just look, his time there, 6 years in his 7th season, out of favour. Sometimes it's time for something new. He went with my blessing. He's giving up some good moments. I feel like with Martial, I've exhausted the term on his day. I've exhausted the term his full potential. I've exhausted those types of terms. I like him. I think he has got bags of ability. Another term I've exhausted. Loads of ability, but it's just time. And actually, Man United are going through a massive rebuild, a big transformation again. New manager's going to come in at the end of the year. A lot of players' contracts are running down, and it's time to freshen things up.
It was a weird one with Martial because the falling out with the manager, where the manager said that he refused to play.
Yeah.
And then Martial publicly came out and said, "No, I didn't refuse to play."
Yeah.
And then it looked like they kind of made up.
It did
something, and then he scored.
It looked like a miscommunication. I don't know. I mean, I find it hard to believe miscommunication. You either want to. Mate, you're in the squad next week, you're in the squad tomorrow. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. I don't understand how, but at least they sorted it out pretty quickly because he was in the squad straight away after.
Who knows what really happened?
Exactly, we'll never know.
If you're going for a new job, you don't want to be telling a new employer, I refuse to do the job.
Exactly.
Yeah, so who knows what really happened?
Didn't seem right.
I reckon they had a discussion. He might have refused to play. He knows he's going. He's come out and said that, and he's gone in and said, "Ralph, come on, man, I'm trying to find a new club.
Yeah.
You want me to go? I want to go." And he said, "No, I didn't. I didn't refuse to play. Miscommunicated." That's what happens.
What about Lingard? Seeing as I got you talking as well, because Lingard went to West Ham last year. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I was thinking maybe he might go back to West Ham. Newcastle are in for him. Do you think he'll go this transfer window?
I think he should, but then we were talking about on another show, and actually, there's an alternative point of view. It's actually KG maybe realised this, and he doesn't normally talk a lot of sense, but he did this time. And that's it. The West Ham thing is, I said this before, Man United are not in a strong enough position to strengthen West Ham and say we'll still get top 4, don't worry. You can't let Jesse Lingard go there, score 9 goals in whatever many games he did like he did last time, fire them and keep them in and about the top 4. We've only just hopefully got rid of you lot by winning. You know what I mean? Try and get them out because they're still there.
You make a great point.
I mean, we can't.
There's still a lot of games to be played.
A lot of games to be played, and if Jesse Lingard goes there, we know what he's capable of. So 100%, you can't go West Ham now. At the end of the season on a free, do what you want. Can't go Spurs right now as well. There was a little bit of a talk about it. The Newcastle one. I think it is a decent move for 6 months, for him, because he's going to get the pick of clubs at the end of that loan spell when he can evaluate. Right now, he wants to play. But what KG was saying to me, and I do kind of agree, Man United have just let Martial go. We're looking to potentially let Donny van de Beek go to Crystal Palace. That's 2 down. You're looking at attacking midfielders that we still might need Jesse. I know he's not playing, but actually we have got to think of ourselves. We have got to be a bit ruthless. He had his chance to leave in the summer.
Still got Champions League football.
Still got Champions League football. COVID could kick in again. You just don't know. And for the last 4 months of the season, if you're letting 2 bodies go, you need to keep another senior player. So actually, because I was like, just let him go. This has been going for so long. But actually, when I think about it, we probably will end up needing him, even though he's not playing well. It's harsh because you're thinking, just let the guy go. And I want him to be happy. if he did go, I would understand. But actually, from a football point of view,
I think he will end up going to Newcastle.
Dead in the water for West Ham?
I don't think it's dead in the water. I mean, they'll be having a discussion with him. He's a loyal lad, and he's been there for a long time. And he gives 6 months to United when he probably could have come to us last summer. And they'll have a discussion with him. And when you've got a loyal lad and a local lad, sometimes there's bigger things afoot than they might get in the Champions League, because let's be honest, odds are we're not going to get in the Champions League. There's I'll be worried more about.
You can't say that.
No, but make it harder for us to get it though. If they're just there.
Still go through the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. Actually, when you're out, can even play in that.
But yeah, I think there's bigger things in life to think about. Do you want to go there, Jesse? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Newcastle? Do you want to go to London? You've got to think about all these things. They're not like a parcel. You can't just send them where you want to put parcels. There's feelings, emotions, and from what I've heard, he wants to come back to West Ham. There are a few unresolved issues which I've told you, and I won't go into publicly because I've promised someone that I wouldn't go into public. So there are a few unresolved issues at West Ham.
What are they? Come on.
No, I can't. Honestly, I can't say. I'll tell you off camera. I'll tell you off camera.
I want to know that,
there are a few unresolved issues, but I think his preference would be there. He enjoyed London. His family liked London. He's got young kids, and he's probably still got a place there. That he owns.
You don't get on with Moyes or something?
No. He gets on with Moyes. It's fine. It's upstairs. The issues are upstairs.
Oh, somebody upstairs you don't get on with?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Don't get sucked in, Nick. Before you know it,
I'll be on the clips again, and I'll be getting baited by his brother. But there are issues there. But they're easily resolvable. They're not deal breakers. They're deal breakers in his mind. It's principle. But there are issues. They can resolve them issues very easily. So it's his preference, but you have got that. You've got the fact that they don't want to strengthen a rival.
They can't do it.
But I just think there's with a kid like, I mean, if it was a signing that they bought in a couple of years ago, I think they'd think more about that. But you do see this that sometimes.
But West Ham, right? West Ham. You say, I don't think we'll get it, right? Which is probably you're talking like. You're doing that thing as a West Ham fan or some fan where you're thinking, we've got a chance, but I don't think, right? This, you may not have as good a chance of this to get into the top 4. Surely you need to strengthen. A striker, for instance.
Of course.
If anything happens to Antonio, you're left short. So, do you think West Ham are going to do any business, man?
They will. They'll do something. What they'll do, I don't know. It's
not confident?
No, not really, no. And to be honest with you, Rob, I'm annoyed because we've put ourselves in this position 2 years in a row now. So we've got a good team and we can beat anyone on our day. But going beyond the team, we're dead.
Same thing at Arsenal.
Nothing. Yeah, we've got absolutely nothing. You see at Man United the other day, both teams were locked. They weren't good enough. They bought on the 3 substitutes and they won the game in the last minute.
They're able to bring on people like Rashford, Sancho, people like that.
Yeah, and we, you've got to have that sort of strength in depth. When we look at our bench, I think I'd get on there if I bought a pair of boots. You know what I mean? Like at times, but that's how poor we are. And you put yourself in that position last year, and you think, oh well, maybe they didn't want to take the chance. But then you put yourself in a position the second year in a row, you think, right. And this is my issues with it. You took us to this stadium. You promised us we're going to be challenging in for this. Now's your opportunity. Like we've been calling you liars for 5 years. Now's your opportunity to we're in a position. Let's put some money down and show them that we're serious. And they don't want to do that.
Sounds like deja vu in talking. That's the same thing I've been saying for about the last 10 years with Arsenal. I mean,
they're like empty promises.
Yeah. Chelsea were flying at the start of this season. Everyone was saying, one thing about Chelsea, the squad depth is unbelievable. But you've had a couple of injuries to the wing backs. Reece James being out, who started the season on fire. Chilwell started the season on fire. And all of a sudden, the players that's come in ain't been the same levels. Chelsea have been really up and down. Do you think you need to strengthen in those areas? I mean, I know you've been trying to bring back players. I mean, you've got about 100 players you can bring back, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying to, which is the problem. But I do agree with you on that point. Like, it has been injuries to a point, but there's also been a little bit of a fallout between the manager and the players that I think is only starting to come to the surface now. Obviously, we know about Lukaku's comments and everything, but today it's just come out that apparently there's a lot of Chelsea attackers that aren't happy with the system that Tuchel's got right now. I think Werner, for example, has been rumoured to prefer a two-striker formation, which, again, is fair to him. It's just more about how they're going about it, because we've heard rumours of a fallout from when the Lukaku news came out, but now it's starting to come out to surface as a lot deeper than we thought. So the injuries are a problem, and we did overhype the depth a little bit, and that's on us. But let's be real, like it seems like yet again we're in a position where the players are the ones causing an issue with the manager, and it's causing discontent within the dressing room. Is another factor for our results.
Do you think you're going to bring in anybody in this transfer window?
Nope, because we've had 25 days to do it. We've been screaming for a left wing back, and all we've done is brought Kennedy back on loan. And that's with the idea of sending him back out to another club because he hasn't been playing for the team that he's at right now. So I want us to get players in. We clearly need the depth, but we're not doing it. It's obvious we ain't going to get it.
Must be frustrating as a Chelsea fan. You see all these guys out on loan who can make an impact. Livramento at Southampton. That Brozier, he looks a player as well, by the way.
Brozier, like, I think it's because of appearances we aren't able to bring him back at this point. Gallagher's been balling out this season. But good. Our problem has been more that every time we win a big trophy, we fall asleep in terms of rebuilding the squad, and we're just like, all right, cool, this is the squad we've had, you've won a big trophy, you can go and do it
I think you need to be more sort of willing to give these a chance. I mean, when you look at the as a whole, you've let the best player in the world go at one point because you didn't want to give him a chance. You've let the best midfielder in the world go because you didn't give him a chance, and you just bought a striker back that you let go for 100 million quid. I think you need to stop loaning these people out and start.
That's just looks like there's the Chelsea way.
Looks like there's some evidence there to say
a high turnover.
Give him a chance.
It's not that patience is just not what's at Chelsea, is it? It doesn't seem. It's like we'll go and find something else.
We've only used the loan army seriously when we had that transfer ban, and that was only to get us back into a position where we could get into the top four. Like, loaning players is only so we can make our own money to buy players. They're all just there for profit. Either it's based on the loan fees that we get out of them or from selling them on later. That's why you got players like Lewis Baker, who've only just sold, but before then he was on loan continuously everywhere, for about 8 years straight because we were able to make money out of them.
But even going back even deeper into the system, we've got Declan Rice. He's touted to be now one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, or will be. He come from your system. You let him go. You let him slip through the net.
Yeah,
that's the best player, the best midfielder, possibly the best DM.
Imagine their squad if they had Salah, De Bruyne,
100 million pounds prime Lukaku.
I'd love to see us actually try and utilise a few of these players more, but we focus so much on the short term while wanting to be a long-term club, but we don't really do what's necessary to be that long-term club. We're so quick to change managers. We're so quick to change to managers with different systems. That's half the reason why we have the squad we have right now.
But does that not frustrate you as a fan? Being like,
look at the success they've had doing it.
It's wicked.
The model works for their success.
When you think about where you could be, there's a success, but then there's domination. With them players there, you could be dominating.
There's no patience though in the football.
No patience.
And I mean, so I want to ask you guys as well, like with the January transfer window, do we as fans realise how tough it must be? Because the thing is, like, for instance, at Arsenal, this January transfer window, we all know we need a striker. Of Aubameyang's, who incidentally was a striker we bought in January, he was brilliant. But we all need we need a striker. Also identify a striker in Vlahovic. They put the money up as well, so the money's there to buy him. Fiorentina, who paid like not under 2 million quid for him, are like, yeah, actually, we'll take him. But Arsenal struggled to get the deal done, and now he's going to Juventus because the player himself has said, well, actually, no, I'd rather go to Juventus. So it's very difficult, isn't it? I look on it and I say, you always look at the clubs that something ain't right, something's not going right, that they need players in January. And in the teams that they run well, everything's like a Man City, they never seem to be, looking around for players in January because they're always set. Everything's in place.
It's about your plan. It's about your plan, and if it depends,
So if you're buying players in January, is it that your plans have not been right?
I think a little bit of both. I think you can have plans in the summer, that might have not come to fruition, and you can go back and get that player. It might be very well known between the agent, the player, and the clubs that actually, well, we ran out of time in the summer. We'll talk again in January, and we can make the move happen. You get moves like that. You get last-minute deals in January where clearly they're panics. You know, they're
lots of panic deals.
How often do managers talk about, well, you know, we're okay now, but if something comes up, you know, that's when you might get an agent saying, listen, actually, we've had a word with X club. They're saying if the right offer comes in, actually, you could actually get Y. You didn't know that before the January transfer window began. So then an opportunity arises that works for the squad. It works for where your direction, and then you get, like you said, just you can't do business and because we're fans, we're emotionally invested in our teams, right? If the viewers watching this, there could be football. Say there was football agents watching this or people inside football. They would probably say more like what you say, and I don't think people realise how difficult it is to get. Sometimes you might say you want a player to leave as well in Jan, which is easy for it. No, I'm not going, mate.
Yeah, because in the case of say,
what contract?
Yeah, in the case of say an Aubameyang, right?
Yeah.
Aubameyang's on reportedly nearly £300,000 a week, right? So obviously Arsenal at the moment, they love him to leave.
Exactly.
To get that wage off, right? Arteta hasn't been getting on with him. But it's up to the player. He's got a contract.
Yeah.
So he might just turn around and say, well, you know what? Unless you find me another club that I'm happy with, I'm happy to go because a club from Saudi Arabia came in for him. But he's probably like, I don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. I want to stay in Europe. You find that you lot want me to go, not me. You find me a club that's going to pay my wages. So I haven't taken a dip in wages either. And then I'll go. If not, I ain't going nowhere. So you've got that. You've also got in January the amount of. There's a lot of loan deals I noticed that get done, and I mean January sometimes can be a bit of a mess, can't it?
The difference between the summer and now is that you're playing as it's going. In the summer, you're not playing, so you've got the time to sort of organise and reset and think about what you're going to do. But there's times when this is why it's so difficult for teams in January, because you could have your sights set on a player. Say, for instance, Lingard, So we've got to have sights set on Lingard, right? Say, October, we're making plans. We're going to go and get him. He's going to come here. All of a sudden, a club could have 4 injuries. He's got to play. And then you're, it's completely...
Or you're doing better as expected and we don't want to send him.
So I think what you're looking at January it's difficult because it's the time in January to assess where you are. So you might be doing better than you were expecting, you might be doing worse than you was expecting, but then you've got to look at the clubs you want to buy the players from. What are they doing?
Where are they? Exactly.
Man United, they wanted to be challenging for the league. They're actually now challenging for 4th, so they're not going to sell us a player. Anyone down the bottom, the likes of Newcastle probably didn't expect to be in a relegation battle, but Burnley didn't want to sell Chris Wood to them because they're in the same battle, but he just had so it's all, there's a domino effect of everything.
And the other thing about it, and I'm going to bring you in here, Lewis, right, because the amount of players now, and this is something you never used to see, say, probably you went back about 5-6 years ago, but the amount of players that are running down their contracts deliberately, right? So you at Chelsea, you've got several players, Aspilicueta, running down his contract, Rudiger running down his contract, right? Christensen running. They've got 6 months left, and they don't seem to, even though they're at Chelsea, right? Champions of Europe, a team that's still. It's an outside chance. It's still outside chance of the league. Still competing for the Champions League again. They're saying, you know what? We'll wait, because they know that if they're in a very strong position at the end of the season. If they want, they can walk away for free and negotiate a big, signing on fee somewhere. They've got the pick of where they want to go.
You do it from now.
There's so many players running down their contracts. I mean, what do you think of it?
I think when it comes from a Chelsea perspective, it's because they know they're in the primes of their careers right now. And they're also in a place where, when they weren't on form, the club didn't necessarily stand by them, because you could have re-signed Rudiger, you could have re-signed Christensen a year or two ago.
So they never offered them at this point?
Yeah, they're at a point where it's 6 months left for a reason. They didn't re-sign it when it was 2 years left because they didn't think they were at a position where they were worthy of re-signing on those wages. Now they're here, they know they're at the prime of their careers, they're now thinking for themselves. And you understand that, of course, players, you have to take yourself into account first and foremost.
Fans don't understand that, though.
No, we forget that. We forget that as football fans. These are people with jobs and families
all the time. But let's be real about it. They're only looking out for their own careers, and they're only looking out to better themselves. Rudiger, Christensen, they know they're playing the form of their lives right now. And to an extent, it's not even form now, it's genuine ability.
And the thing is as well, when a lot of times when the club now is looking to, say, go to a Christensen and offer him a new deal, that new deal has got more to do with what money they can make if they're going to sell it.
Yeah.
So if in a year's time they decide to sell him, he's still tied into another 3 years, so they can get,
But the player, I just want to say as well, the players as well, they want to feel like that they're at a price that suits their ability, and it also is kind of similar to the players they're around. And we've got a little bit of a problem with our wage structure. Like Rudiger, the reason why he's asking so much money is because he's asked for extensions before and he hasn't got a decent amount, and he's seen players get extensions and come in on higher wages and not produce the results that justify it. So he's sitting there thinking, okay, why am I being offered 140k a week when Marcus Alonso's sitting there on 150k a week and the fans want him out every single week? Or Timo Werner's here on 250k a week and he can barely finish. So to an extent, they are fully justified to ask for the money that they want, but it's because they were not backed when their form was done.
Yeah. Do we understand it though?
It worries me because I think it's so money orientated now. You need billionaires. You need billionaires to run these clubs and spend their own money. You've got two sides of the business now. You've got the billionaires that run the club. Football, in terms of profit, is not massive business, but they want to make this a massive business. And now you've got the footballers that see the billionaires coming in, and they want to get as much money as they want. This really what you used to get it. You've had it full time. He's going for the money. He's going, but I think you're seeing average players now.
Big contracts.
People running down their contract. They've paid £100 million for a player, and then all of a sudden he says, "No, I'm not signing," because he knows he can go and get double the fee.
Mbappe running down his contract at PSG.
Again, £200 million he cost PSG. Won't sign a new contract now because he knows that he can go to a Man City or I was going to say Barcelona, but it wouldn't be Barcelona, but Real Madrid, and get double the wages and a hefty fee himself.
What would you do?
What?
If he was
If I was Mbappe, I'd run down the contract.
Exactly.
Of course. The money's in the game. The money's in the game. I think, and that's the thing about.
But it's coming out of the game, and this is what I'm saying about the whole thing. It's a bubble, and eventually you see it in Spain. The bubble's going to burst, and because the money's been extracted out of the game. Billionaires are not going to be sitting there. Smart billionaire businessmen like Roman Abramovich, like the guys at Newcastle, are not going to be sitting there thinking, "Well, I'm paying him £50 million. They're taking that out of the game. It's not going into any club and all that sort of thing." I can't be arsed with it anymore. And I think the bubble will burst.
But this is why players, though, as well.
There's only so much money.
This is why.
There's only so much money in the world flex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds stupid, but when you're starting to talking about £1 billion clubs and £200 million players.
But there's £1 billion release clauses now.
Yeah.
Pedri re-signed at Barca. He's got £1 billion release clause. Before there used to be 100 million release clause. We go,
there's only so much they can raise that with the TV money and all of that sort of thing. This bubble is going to burst at some point.
And the crazy thing about it is that a team like Newcastle probably could pay £1 billion release
easy.
clause.
Yeah.
It's mad. But listen, guys, I want to thank you very much for that. What do you guys out there think of the transfer window? Has it become more difficult, the January transfer window? And who would you like your club to sign before the window closes on the 31st of January? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports and like this video, and we'll see you on the next one.